Welcome to my channel. My name is Ria, and in this video I'm going to talk about what the month of August might bring for your particular zodiac sign. Now this is for your sun sign and your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, then just stick with your sun sign, and I would recommend watching your rising sign first if you know it, and then watching your sun sign. Now although I am going to talk about the important transits for the month of August for your sign, always keep in mind that your personal chart, your planetary placements that are there in your personal chart are the most important and will influence what's happening with you, how you're feeling, your life the most. So always keep that in mind, right? And this video will be broken down with timestamps, so you can click on whichever sign you want to watch and go directly to that. And for this video I'm going to start with Aries and then finish up with Pisces, right? So let's get started, but before that I do request you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. Now let's begin, and let's begin with Aries. So Aries, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. Now, before we get into the month of August, I do want to talk about two important things that happened at the end of July, right? July 28th and July 31st. The first is that we had a new moon in the sign of Leo on July 28th. Now, new moons bring in new energy. New energy seeds itself on a new moon that we work on for the entire lunar month, the entire 28 days or so. So all the way up till the end of August, when we will have a new moon, you will be working on the new moon in Leo energy. Now for you, this energy entered your fifth house of love, romance, creativity, hobbies, children, right? Fun. So new energy entered this house for you. So all the way up till the end of August, what you will be focused on in subtle ways is working on maybe having fun, on something to do with your children, or maybe something to do with being creative, right? A lot of new energy there for you to work with in the fifth house of love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun and pleasure. Maybe you take up a new hobby, maybe there's a new romantic interest in your life. Maybe, you say, okay, you know what, enough of this work, I need to take it easy, right? I need to have fun a little bit. So it could be something like that, Aries, right? The new moon. So you're entering the month of August with the new moon in Leo energy, infusing your fifth house with new energy, helping you work on matters of creativity, love, romance, children, hobbies, fun, pleasure up until the end of August. Now the second thing that I want to talk about before we get into August is the Uranus North Node conjunction. Now this is a conjunction that's happened after 15 years, so it's not a very common thing, it's a big deal. And this conjunction, very simply put, brings change, right? It's this energy of breaking free. And for you, Aries, this conjunction fell in your second house of finances, of possessions, of material possessions, of your self-worth, of your values, of your skills. So maybe you started to change up your way of acquiring material wealth, right? Maybe you said, okay, you know what, I need to learn a new skill, right? Or I need to update my current skill. Basically, it's this progressive energy of change in your house of finances, possessions, skills, and self-worth. Or Aries, it could be that you say, you know what, I'm confident in myself now. So these sort of things can happen, but it's the second house for you. Now, one more thing I want to talk about before we get into August. I know I said two things, but one more thing is that Jupiter went retrograde on July 28th, right? Now, Jupiter is the planet of blessings and rewards. And for you, Aries, it's in your first house, right? And Jupiter enters a sign after 12 years. So for you, Aries, in your first house, Jupiter is bringing blessings, gifts, lessons connected to you, right? Your identity, who you are, how the world sees you, how you present yourself to the world, your appearance maybe, right? Blessings coming in that area for you, maybe lessons coming in that area for you, but whatever it is, the focus on your external identity is magnified with Jupiter there. And on July 28th, Jupiter went retrograde. right? And when planets retrograde, it's a period of review. So what you are reviewing with Jupiter retrograde There are other energies in your chart as well. This is just one energy. With Jupiter retrograde, what you are reviewing is your own identity, right? Is your own presentation to the world, perhaps even your appearance, right? Maybe you're reviewing it. Maybe you're saying, okay, you know what, I changed something in my appearance, it's not working, let me review it, let me revisit it and do it another way, things like that. So that's July end for you, and these are the energies you're bringing in to the month of August with you, Aries. Now let's talk about the month of August. So the first important thing happens on 4th of August, and we have Mercury changing signs, right? Mercury has been in Leo, now it is going to enter Virgo, your 6th house, Aries. And Mercury is the planet of communication and our logical mind, and wherever it goes, our communication and thinking follows, in subtle ways. So Mercury in Leo for you was all about the 5th house. Maybe you were thinking, communicating more about love, romance, hobbies, fun, pleasure, but now Mercury is in your 6th house, and your 6th house is to do with health, it's to do with job, it's to do with diet, exercise, lifestyle, routine, right? The day-to-day, the mundane. That's the 6th house. So now your thoughts, now your thinking, now your communication can be more focused on the day-to-day. Is this the right routine for me? Is this the right diet for me? Is this diet working for me, or do I need to change something? Are these habits good for me? Do I need to change up my habits? Do I need to change up my routine, right? Or do I need to change up the way I do my job? Or is something not okay in the way I'm approaching my health? Maybe I can approach it in a different way that might be more beneficial to me. So the focus of the mind, Mercury, the focus of the speech, Mercury, will be more towards these things, right? Maybe you start a new exercise routine. That's also the 6th house. So a lot of focus of your mind on these day-to-day matters, right? Up until the end of the month, August 25th, when Mercury will change signs and enter the sign of Libra, and we'll get to that in a few moments, right? So that's Mercury in your 6th house, Aries. Now on August 11th, Venus changes signs. Venus enters the sign of Leo, right? Up until August 11th, Venus is in the sign of Cancer, your 4th house. And Venus is this energy that brings blessings, that brings gifts, that brings positive energy. But Venus moves really fast, right? So Venus brings these little positive things. Jupiter is the one, because it's slow. It brings those once in 12 years kind of blessings and gifts. So Venus in your 4th house could have brought something positive connected to your home or your emotions, right? Something positive, could be something really small as well, or something to do with where you come from, your roots, your ancestors, could be a physical home as well, right? Positive things coming about up until August 11th with Venus in Cancer. But on August 11th, it's going to change signs and enter your 5th house. And now the little positive things will be to do with love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun, pleasure, right? If you're an artist, maybe you create something that you're very proud of. Or if you're, dating and that sort of thing, maybe, something positive happens there for you. Or maybe, you're thinking, what's the hobby that I should take up, right? What should I do for fun? What should I do to have, enjoy my life? Maybe something shows up. So little things like that. That's Venus in Leo for you, Aries. Now moving on the same day, we do have a full moon in the sign of Aquarius, right? And full moons are completion points, they are culmination points, they are points of clarity. We begin to see something on a full moon that might have been unclear to us before, right? It's this point where things come to a head, so to speak. So that's what a full moon is, and this one's happening in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is your 11th house, right? So it's your 5th and 11th house axis that is going to be highlighted with this full moon. The 11th house is the social circle that you have. It's the groups that you belong to, it's the network that you have, right? It's your social circle. It could be, like-minded individuals that you connect with. The 11th house is not your closest friends, it's more the acquaintances, the groups that you belong to, that sort of thing. So this full moon is in your 11th house, maybe completing something connected to being social, right? Connected to being social. At the same time, the sun will be in your 5th house, so themes of love, romance, creativity, hobbies, children are present as well with this full moon. Now, full moons have their own energy and own significance, and I do break down the full moon energy in my full moon video. So to know the energies of this full moon, you can watch my full moon horoscope, which will be out on my channel close to the full moon. Now, moving on August 20th, Aries, we have Mars entering Gemini, right? Mars has been in Taurus since July 5th. And since July 5th, Mars in Taurus has been giving you energy and drive connected to material possessions, connected to acquiring wealth, connected to your self-worth, values, and skills, right? But now it's changing signs and it's going to enter your 3rd house. And Mars is our energy. Wherever it goes, our energy follows. Mars is also action. So wherever it goes, we get more active in that area. Now, starting August 20th, it's going to be about the 3rd house, communicating, right? Maybe you communicate more, maybe you think more. It's also the house of writing and social media and marketing and editing and computer programming. So, maybe there's more focus on these areas. It's also the house of siblings. Maybe there's a focus on siblings in your life or your peer group, right? With Mars there, maybe there's more stuff happening in that area of your life. It could also be a change in your immediate environment, right? So that's the house that will be active with Mars entering the sign of Gemini on August 20th. And it is going to be in Gemini for a while, right? Because Mars this year is going retrograde. So these are themes, right, of the 3rd house that you will probably review many times, that will come back up many times, because Mars is going to move forward and then it's going to retrograde and then it's going to move forward again in your 3rd house. So this is the area of focus for Mars for you, for Mars retrograde for you, which will happen in the sign of Gemini. Now, moving on to August 22nd, the sun is going to change signs. It's going to enter the sign of Virgo, right? Virgo season. And Virgo is your 6th house and the sun is an illuminator. So it will illuminate your 6th house of health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine, right? More focus will be on those matters up until August 22nd. The focus will be on love, romance, creativity, hobbies, children, pleasure. Now, on August 24th, we have Uranus going retrograde. Uranus is in Taurus, your 2nd house. So it's been there for a while, right? So a lot of energy is in your 2nd house of material possessions, wealth, finances, that sort of thing. And now Uranus going retrograde is going to make you review the changes. Uranus is change. The changes that you need to make connected to finances, connected to your skills, connected to your self-worth and values, right? The changes that you have been making, now is the review process. How can you make those changes better? So that's Uranus retrograde for you, Aries. And then on August 25th, Mercury is going to enter Libra. Now, the thinking, the communication will shift from the 6th house, health, job, diet, routine, exercise, to relationships. Right, marriage, legal relationships, legal issues, that sort of thing. Those things will be more on your mind. Maybe communication and conversations about those will take place. So that's the shift with Mercury entering Libra for you, Aries. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the new moon in the sign of Virgo. So new moons seed new energy, and all the way up till end of September, this is the energy that you will be working on in subtle ways, and this energy is coming into your 6th house, health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine, exercise, right? So that's how we end the month of August, Aries. A lot of focus this month on love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun and pleasure. And towards the end of the month, it will start to shift slowly towards health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine. The full moon will highlight your 11th house, being social, completing something when it comes to being social, or your networks, right? Could even be something connected to your hopes, goals and dreams that the full moon brings up. So I hope you enjoyed this video, Aries, and I will see you in one of my other videos on my channel. Have a great day. Bye. Taurus, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. Now, before we get into August, though, there are 3 things that I want to talk about that happened at the end of July. So let's talk about those and then we'll get into August. So the first thing that I want to mention is that on July 28th, we had a new moon in Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy that seeds itself and that we work on for the next lunar month, for the next 28 days or so. So all the way up till end of August, this is the energy that you will be working on in subtle ways. And for you, Leo is your 4th house, right, Taurus? So this energy that you'll be working on is connected to your family, is connected to your home, your deepest emotions, your roots, where you come from, right? So a lot of focus there for you with the new moon in Leo, and up until the new moon in Virgo on August 27th, I believe, this is going to be the focus in subtle ways. Now, on the same day, Jupiter goes retrograde, right? It's in Aries right now. And Jupiter is the planet of blessings, rewards, gifts, and healing, right? And in your 12th house, it's giving blessings, gifts, rewards, and healing after 12 years, connected to your subconscious mind, spirituality, closing out the past, all these sort of things. If drugs, delusions, addictions and depression apply to you, then those as well. And now it's going to retrograde in that house, meaning now it's a review time for you, right? Maybe there were certain lessons that needed to come about. Did you learn those lessons? Maybe you need to do something a second time around in a different way, connected to your subconscious mind, connected to your spirituality, or closing out the past in a subtle way. So that's Jupiter retrograde for you, Taurus. Now, on 31st July, we had an important event, Uranus conjuncted the North Node. Now, this happened after 15 years, so it's a rare thing to feel, right? And for you, Taurus, it happened in your sign, right? It happened in Taurus, which means it happened in your 1st house. So this energy, the energy of this conjunction represents change, represents breaking free from the past in some ways. And this happened in your 1st house, connected to your identity, who you are, how the world sees you, your appearance, right? How you present yourself to the world. So change or breaking free in your identity in some ways with this energy, Taurus. Now let's talk about the month of August. So the first thing that I want to talk about happens on 4th of August, and that's Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. Up until 4th August, Mercury is in Leo, your 4th house. So Mercury is the planet of our mind. It's the planet of communication. So wherever it goes, our communication, our speech, our thinking follows. And for you, up until 4th August, it's going to be in Leo, your 4th house, thinking, communicating a little bit more about home, family, your emotions, your roots, where you come from. After 4th August, it's going to shift into your 5th house, right? A little bit more thinking, a little bit more focus on having fun, on enjoying life, on your hobbies, right? On children, on love and romance, Taurus, right? That's where you're thinking, that's where your speech will be more focused on in subtle ways. Now, on August 11th, we have 2 important events. The first is that Venus enters the sign of Leo, your 4th house, right? Venus up until August 11th is in the sign of Cancer, your 3rd house. And Venus is a benefic, right? It brings these gifts, blessings, and rewards that are smaller than the rewards of Jupiter, you can say, because Venus moves really fast. We feel it go through our houses quite often, right? And Venus in your 3rd house could have brought gifts, blessings, rewards connected to your thinking, connected to communicating, connected to your siblings, your peer group, your immediate environment, right? These are the areas where Venus may have brought in something positive. But now on August 11th, it's going to enter your 4th house, and the little positive things start to happen connected to your home, connected to your family, connected to your foundation, connected to your roots, where you come from. Could be a physical home as well, right? So that's Venus in Leo for you, Taurus. On the same day, we have a full moon in Aquarius, and Taurus, Aquarius is your 10th house, right? 10th house is representative of business, of your career, of your public image. And full moons are these completion points. They complete something in our lives, right? They're also this point of clarity. If something was unclear in the past, clarity can come on a full moon. So this is your 10th and 4th house axis. So the full moon will highlight themes connected to your business, your career, your public image. At the same time, with the sun in the 4th house, family, your emotions are the focus as well with this full moon. Now, I do break down the full moon energy in my full moon video. So to know the energies of this full moon, you can watch that video, which should be on my channel around the time of the full moon. Now, moving on, the next important thing happens on August 20th, and Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. Up until now, since July 5th, Mars has been in Taurus, your sign. Mars is our energy, it's our drive. Wherever it goes, our energy and drive follows, right? That house becomes more active in a certain way, more action takes place in that house. And for you, that's you, your identity, how the world sees you, your appearance, right? A lot of energy and focus there up until 20th August, right from July 5th. But now it's shifting to your second house. And the second house is the house of wealth and resources and finances and skills and self-worth and values, could even be appearances. So again, the energy is going to go into these areas, and Mars is going to be in Gemini for a while, right? It is going to retrograde here. So this is the house that will come up for review with Mars retrograde, the second house of finances, material wealth, possessions, self-worth, values and skills, appearances even. Now, moving on to August 22nd, we have the sun entering the sign of Virgo. Virgo is your 5th house, Taurus, and this can illuminate matters connected to the 5th house: love, romance, children, creativity, hobbies, fun and pleasure. Up until August 22nd, with the sun in the 4th house, a lot is highlighted connected to family, closest friends, your deepest emotions, could be a physical home as well. That's the sun in Virgo. Then on August 24th, Mercury enters the sign of Libra. Libra is your 6th house. So now the thinking, now the communication will be more about exercise, routine, diet, lifestyle, job, your habits, right? Maybe you're thinking more about these things. Maybe you're communicating more about these things than before with Mercury there. And the last thing for the month of August that I want to speak about is the new moon in the sign of Virgo. Now, new moons seed new energy that we work on for the next lunar month, for the next 28 days or so. And for you, this new moon is happening in your 5th house: love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun and pleasure, right? So all the way up till end of September, the energy that you will be working on will be connected to these matters. Maybe you learn to have more fun, maybe you focus more on relaxing, maybe you focus more on your children, maybe you focus more on your love life, right? So that sort of thing. And that's the month in a nutshell for you, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in one of my other videos. Bye. Gemini, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into the month of August, there are 3 things that I want to talk about that happen in the month of July. So on July 28th, we had a new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, new moons seed energy that we work on for the entire lunar month. So this new moon was in your 3rd house, Gemini, seeding new energy in the house of communication, the house of your siblings, of your immediate environment. So all the way up until the end of August, this is the energy that you will be working on. The second thing is that on the same day, July 28th, we had Jupiter go retrograde. Right now, Jupiter is in Aries right now, and it is in your 11th house. And Jupiter is the planet of gifts, rewards, blessings, and healing. right, and lessons as well. And it has been giving you blessings and lessons connected to your 11th house, your social circle, the groups that you belong to, your hopes, goals, and dreams since the month of May. And now it's going to go retrograde, which essentially means now is the review connected to themes of your social circle, being social, the groups that you belong to, your hopes, goals, and dreams connected with Jupiter. The last thing that I want to talk about connected to the month of July is that on July 31st, we had a major event. Uranus conjuncted the North Node, and this happened after 15 years. They conjuncted in the sign of Taurus, which is your 12th house, Gemini. And very simply put, what this conjunction brings is change. It brings this energy of breaking free. And for you, that's in your 12th house. So something changing, or this energy of breaking free connected to your subconscious mind, connected to the past, connected to spirituality, connected to creativity. The 12th house is also the house of drugs, delusions, addictions, and depression. So something changing or something about breaking free in these matters as well, if these matters apply to you, Gemini. Now let's get into the month of August. So the first important thing happens on 4th of August, and Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. Now Gemini, Virgo is your 4th house, and Mercury is the planet of our communication and our mind. And wherever Mercury goes, our logical mind, our communication follows, right? So starting August 4th all the way up till the end of August, till Mercury is in Virgo, your thinking, your communication can be a little bit more about matters concerning your home, your emotions, your closest friends. It could be a property related matter as well. Then Gemini, on August 11th, we have two important events. Venus enters the sign of Leo. Now Venus is this energy that brings positivity with it, right? Up until August 11th, Venus is in Cancer. Cancer is your second house. So Venus till 11th of August will bring this positive energy connected to financial matters or matters of self-worth and values. And after August 11th, it's going to enter your third house, bringing something positive connected to your communication, right? Connected to your logical mind, maybe connected to the immediate environment, or something connected to your peer group and siblings. Then on the same day, we have a full moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is your 9th house. So this full moon energy is in your 9th house, and full moons are these points of completions, right? They're these points of culminations. And on a full moon, we can see more clearly. If something was unclear, clarity can come on a full moon. And for you, this is in your 9th house, connected to matters of learning, matters of traveling, of higher education, of connecting with foreign cultures. It's also the house of philosophy and wisdom and your beliefs. So something there as well. And the sun will be in your third house, illuminating the house of communication, right? Maybe there's a little bit more focus on communication or your immediate environment or your relationship with your siblings, Gemini. So that's the full moon for you. Then on August 20th, we have Mars entering your sign, right? Mars is the planet of our energy. Wherever Mars goes, that area of our house becomes a little more active. All the way from 5th of July up until 20th of August, Mars has been in your 12th house, right? A lot of focus has been on closing out the past, on your subconscious mind, on spiritual matters, on drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you. But now, starting August 20th, it's going to shift into your first house, bringing a lot of energy and drive and focus to you, your identity, who you are, how the world sees you, how you present yourself to the world, that sort of thing. And Mars this year is going to retrograde towards the end of the year. So it's going to be here for a while. And when Mars retrogrades, these themes connected to your identity, connected to your leadership, connected to who you are, will come up for review. So just keep that in mind. Now moving on August 22nd, we have the Sun entering the sign of Virgo. Virgo is your 4th house and the Sun is an illuminator. Up till August 22nd, it is going to illuminate the house of communication. A lot of emphasis on communication or thinking or writing or social media, that sort of thing. And then it's going to shift into your 4th house, bringing more light, more focus to your house of home, family, foundation, deepest emotions, roots, where you come from, that sort of thing, Gemini. Then on August 24th, we have Uranus going retrograde, and Uranus is right now in your 12th house. It has been there for a while and will be there for a while. Uranus is really slow, and retrogrades are a period of review, and Uranus in your 12th house is changing up themes connected to the subconscious, connected to closing out the past, connected to spiritual matters, right, for a while now. Also, if drugs, delusions, addictions, depression apply to you, then closing out those matters of bringing change to something in those matters, right? And now is the time to review those changes, right? What has worked, what hasn't worked, what needs to change more, connected to Uranus. Now, the next thing that I want to mention is that on August 25th, we have Mercury changing signs again, and this time it's going to enter the sign of Libra, your 5th house. So now your communication and thinking can shift from your home, from your family, from your foundation to more about love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun, pleasure, that sort of thing. And the last thing that's important for the month of August is that we have a new moon in Virgo, and new moons bring with them new energy. It's the seeding point of new energy that we work on for the next lunar month. So this new energy is coming into your 4th house of home and family and foundation and your deepest emotions, right? Could be a physical home as well. So this is the energy that you will take with you into the month of September and work on all the way up till the end of September, when we will have the next new moon. So that's the month in a nutshell for you, Gemini. Overall, there's a lot of energy in your 4th house of home and family and foundation, as well as your 3rd house of communication, right? So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great day. Bye, Gemini. Cancer, let's talk about what's happening in the month of August for you. But before we get started with August, there are 3 things that I'd like to talk about that happened in the month of July. So the first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in Leo. Now, Leo is your 2nd house, and new moons bring in new energy that seeds itself and that we work on for the entire lunar month, for the entire 28 days or so. So this one's in your 2nd house, new energy connected to material possessions, acquiring wealth, finances, your self-worth, values, and skills. So this is the energy that you're taking into August with you from July and working on till the end of August, when we will have the next new moon. Now, the second thing is that Jupiter went retrograde on the same day, July 28th. And Jupiter is a benefic. It gives blessings, rewards, and healing, right? It also brings lessons, and Jupiter enters a particular sign, which means a particular house, after 12 years. So after 12 years, it's in your 10th house of business and career, right? Giving you blessings and lessons in this area. And now that it's gone retrograde, this is the opportunity to review those lessons and blessings and take a second look at those connected to your career and business. The third thing is that on 31st July, we had a major event, Uranus conjuncted the North Node. Now, this happened after 15 years, and what this energy brings is change. It is this energy of breaking free from something, and in your 11th house, this change, this energy of breaking free is connected to your social circle, the groups that you belong to, the network that you have, the acquaintances in your life, right? The 11th house is also the house of your hopes, goals, and dreams. So this energy of breaking free in this area as well. And if science, tech, and innovation apply to you, then in those areas as well, Cancer. Now let's get into the month of August. So the first important event happens on 4th of August, and Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. Mercury is the planet of our communication and thinking. Wherever Mercury goes, our thinking and communication becomes a little bit more about those areas. And for you, Virgo is your third house, the house of communication, the house of your siblings, the house of your immediate environment, right? So you might find yourself communicating a little more than usual. You might find yourself communicating more with your peer group and siblings, right? Or thinking about them a little more than usual. You might find yourself thinking about your social media, that's also the third house, or changing up your immediate environment, right? With Mercury in the third house. Then moving on to August 11th, we have two important events. The first is that Venus enters the sign of Leo, Cancer. Up until August 11th, Venus is in your sign, your first house. Now Venus brings this energy of positivity with it, right? And in your first house, it has been bringing this energy of positivity connected to you, your identity, your leadership, right? But after August 11th, it's going to be in your second house, bringing positive energy into your house of wealth, material resources, and finances. The second house is also the house of our appearance. It's also the house of our skills and self-worth, right, and value. So something positive in these areas maybe. Then we have the full moon in Aquarius on the same day, and Cancer, Aquarius is your 8th house, right? And full moons are this point of clarity and completions. So this full moon energy is highlighting your 8th house of transformation. Maybe a transformation completing itself, Cancer. Maybe something connected to intimate relationships or the occult completing itself or becoming clearer. At the same time, the sun on this full moon will be in your second house, illuminating matters of finances, material possessions, self-worth, values, and skills. So the full moon in Aquarius is on your second and 8th house axis, illuminating these areas: transformation, occult, investments, intimate relationships on one hand, and on the other hand, financial matters, matters of self-worth and values. Now moving on to August 20th, we have Mars changing signs. Mars has been in Taurus since 5th of July, your 11th house, right? And Mars is our energy. Wherever Mars goes, our energy goes, right? We become a little bit more active in that area of our life. And for you, that's the 11th house, right? Maybe a lot of energy in being social, maybe a lot of energy connected to working on your hopes, goals, and dreams. Maybe a lot of energy connected to science, tech, and innovation, if that applies to you. And then on August 20th, it's going to shift into your 12th house, right? A lot of energy to close out the past, to focus on your subconscious thoughts and your subconscious mind, on spiritual matters, on creative matters, on drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you. And Mars is going to retrograde in the sign of Gemini towards the end of the year. So it's going to be here for a long time. And when Mars does go retrograde, these themes that I just mentioned of your subconscious mind, of the past, of spirituality, creativity, drugs, delusions, addictions, and depression, these are the themes that will come up for review with Mars retrograde, which will happen at the end of the year. Now moving on August 22nd, the sun is going to enter the sign of Virgo. Virgo is your 3rd house, Cancer, and the sun is an illuminator. So up until August 22nd, it has been illuminating your house of wealth and material possessions and self-worth and values and skills and appearances. And after August 22nd, it is going to illuminate your house of communication, your house of your immediate environment, right? The house connected to your siblings and peer group. So that's the sun changing into Virgo for you, Cancer. Now the next important thing happens on August 24th, and we have Uranus retrograde, right? And Uranus is this energy that brings change. It's a slow energy, so it stays in one house for many years. And for you, Uranus is in your 11th house, bringing a change to your social circle, to the groups that you belong to, your hopes, goals, and dreams. And now that it's going to go retrograde, now is the time to review those changes connected to these areas. Are these changes working for you connected to your social circle? Are they not? Can you make changes that are better? It need not just be your social circle. It could also be your hopes, goals, and dreams, Cancer. It could also be something connected to science, tech, and innovation, Cancer. And then on August 25th, we have Mercury changing signs again, and now it's going to enter the sign of Libra, your 4th house. So now the thinking and communication can be a little bit more focused on matters of the home, matters of your deep emotions, matters connected to your close friends, that sort of thing. And we end this month with a new moon in Virgo on August 27th. Right now, this is the point where new energy will come into your 3rd house of communication, thinking, social media, marketing, peer groups, siblings, immediate environment. And this is where the energy will seed itself, and this is where you will work on with this energy up until the end of September. So that's the month in a nutshell for you, Cancer. A lot of focus on the 11th house with Uranus there, with Mars there. A lot of focus also on your 3rd house of communication and siblings and immediate environment. And towards the end, it starts to shift slightly, very slightly, to your home and family and foundation. So I hope you enjoyed this video, Cancer. I will see you now in another video. Bye. Leo, let's talk about what's happening in the month of August for you. But before we get into August, there are 3 things that I'd like to talk about that happened in the month of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in your sign, in the sign of Leo, in your 1st house. And new moons bring with them new energy. And in the month of August, this is the energy that you will be working on, right? And what is this energy? A new moon in your 1st house means new energy coming in connected to your identity, connected to who you are, your appearance, how the world sees you, how you present yourself to the world, right? So you'll probably be working on yourself, you're constructing your identity all the way up to the end of August till we have the next new moon, right? This is the energy you'll be working on. The second thing is that Jupiter went retrograde on the same day, on 28th July, and Jupiter is a benefic. It brings lessons and blessings, and it enters a particular sign, which means a particular house after 12 years. So after 12 years, Jupiter is in your 9th house since May 10th, right? And Jupiter in your 9th house is giving lessons and blessings connected to higher education, wisdom, philosophies, beliefs, foreign travel, learning something new, right? These are the broad themes where Jupiter can bring lessons or blessings. And now that it's gone retrograde, this is a time to review those lessons connected to these themes or review those blessings connected to these themes. The last thing that I want to mention connected to July is that on 31st July, we had a major event. Uranus conjuncted the North Node. And this happened after 15 years. And what this energy brings is change. It's this energy of breaking free from something. And for you, this happened in your 10th house of business and career, right? So this energy of change and breaking free is connected to your career, public image, and business, right? So I just thought I'd mention these 3 things before we get into August. And now, Leo, let's talk about the month of August for you. So the first important thing that happens in the month of August is that Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. Virgo is your 2nd house, Leo. And Mercury is our thinking, it's our communication. Wherever it goes, our thinking and communication becomes a little bit more about those matters. So starting August 4th, you might be thinking or communicating more about the themes of the 2nd house, financial matters, matters pertaining to acquiring wealth, matters of self-worth and values and skills, right? And then on August 11th, we have Venus entering your sign. And Venus is a benefic, right? It gives gifts and blessings, not as much as Jupiter, but it still brings blessings. this positive energy comes along with Venus, and Venus has been in your 12th house. It will be in your 12th house up until August 11th, bringing you positive energy connected to letting go of the past, connected to closing out the past, your subconscious, spiritual matters. If drugs, delusions, addictions, and depression apply to you, then those matters as well. And then on August 11th, it's going to move into your first house, bringing you positive energy connected to your identity, connected to who you are, how the world sees you, right? That sort of thing. So that's August 11th, and on the same day we have a full moon in Aquarius, Leo, right? And full moons are these points of completion, right? They're this point of clarity. If something has been unclear before a full moon, things can become clearer on a full moon. And for you, this full moon is in your 7th house, right? The 7th house is the house of marriage. It's the house of legal relationships, right? It's also the house of business partnerships and legal issues. So something completing itself connected to these matters, Leo, or something becoming clear connected to these matters as well. And with the moon in Aquarius, the sun is going to be in Leo, your first house. So this full moon is also going to highlight you, your identity, who you are, your appearance, how the world sees you, that sort of thing, Leo. So that's the full moon. And then on August 20th, we have Mars entering the sign of Gemini. And Mars is our energy, right? Wherever Mars goes, our energy follows, and that house becomes a little bit more active. And for you, up until August 20th, all the way from July 5th, Mars has been in your 10th house of business and career, right? A lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of focus on your business and career since then. But now it's going to shift into your 11th house, right? A lot of focus, a lot of energy on your social circle, on being social, on your hopes, goals, and dreams, on science, tech, innovation, if that applies to you, Leo. And Mars is going to go retrograde in the sign of Gemini towards the end of the year. So it's going to be in this house for a while, right? So when Mars does go retrograde, these are the themes of your social circle, being social, your hopes, goals, and dreams, science, tech, innovation, if that applies to you, that will come up for review. So just keep that in mind as well. And then on August 22nd, the sun does change signs. It enters the sign of Virgo, your 2nd house, right? And the sun is an illuminator. So up until August 22nd, it has been illuminating you, your 1st house, your identity, your leadership, how the world sees you, that sort of thing. But after the 22nd of August, it's going to shift into your 2nd house, illuminating your house of wealth, your house of material possessions and self-worth and values, Leo. Then on August 24th, we have Uranus go retrograde, and Uranus is this energy that brings change. It's an energy that's slow moving, so it stays in a particular house for a while, and Uranus has been in your 10th house for a while, right? Bringing change to your business and career. And when it goes retrograde, this is the time to review, are these changes connected to your business and career working, or are they not working? How can you make these changes better? That sort of thing, Leo. And then on August 25th, we have Mercury enter the sign of Libra. Now, Libra is your 3rd house, Leo, and the 3rd house is to do with communicating in general, right? So you might find yourself communicating a little bit more than usual with Mercury there. Your thinking and communication can be more focused on your siblings, your peer group, about social media, marketing, that sort of thing, Leo. And the last thing for the month of August is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in Virgo, right? New energy coming in, and this time it's in your house of material possessions and wealth, right? So new energy seeding itself in your house of wealth, possessions, self-worth, values, and skills that you will work on all the way up till the end of September, till we have the next new moon. So that's the month in a nutshell, Leo. A lot of focus with Mars and Uranus in your 10th house of business and career, a lot of focus on your identity and leadership, and then slowly it starts shifting towards financial matters. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will now see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month, Leo. Bye. Virgo, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into August, there are three things that I'd like to mention that happened at the end of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in Leo. New moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the entire lunar month for the next 28 days or so. And this is the energy that you're entering August with. And Leo is your 12th house. So the new moon energy is connected to your spiritual life, right? It's connected to your subconscious mind. It's connected to closing out the past. It's also the house of drugs, delusions, addictions, depression. So if those themes apply to you, then new energy in those matters as well, that you will take with you into the month of August and work on till the end of August, till we have the next new moon. Now, the second thing is that Jupiter is retrograde. Now it went retrograde on 28th July, right? And Jupiter has been in your 8th house after 12 years, right? On May 10th it entered the sign of Aries after 12 years, coming into your 8th house after 12 years, right? And Jupiter brings blessings and lessons, and in your 8th house, blessings could be associated with an overall transformation. It could be associated with your psychological makeup or an intimate relationship or investments, right? And now that it's gone retrograde, now is the time to review those blessings and lessons connected to these themes that I just mentioned. The last thing that I want to mention for the month of July is that on July 31st, Uranus and the North Node conjuncted after 15 years, and this energy brings change. It's this energy of breaking free from something, right? And this happened in your 9th house of beliefs, of philosophy, wisdom, higher education, foreign travel. So some change here, or just an energy of breaking free from something connected to these themes. Now let's get into the month of August, Virgo. So the first thing that happens that's important in the month of August is that Mercury is going to enter your sign, Virgo, right? And Mercury is our mind, Mercury is our thinking, and wherever it goes, our thinking and communication becomes a little bit more about that area. And in your first house, you might find yourself thinking or communicating more about yourself, right? More about your identity, more about your leadership position, more about your appearance even, right? That sort of thing, Virgo. And then on August 11th, we have Venus entering the sign of Leo. Venus is a benefic. It brings positivity with it, right? Up until August 11th, Venus is in Cancer, your 11th house, bringing positive things connected to being social, your social circle, the groups that you belong to, the organizations that you're a part of, your hopes, goals, and dreams. And if science, tech, and innovation applies to you, then those areas as well. And then on August 11th, it enters your 12th house, bringing positive things connected to your spirituality, connected to your subconscious mind, connected to closing out the past, connected to drugs, delusions, addictions, and depression, if those apply to you, right? And on the same day, we have a full moon in Aquarius. Now, Virgo, Aquarius is your 6th house, and full moons are this point of completion and clarity, right? Clarity can come on a full moon. And for you, in the 6th house, completions or something becoming clear is connected to your health, your job, lifestyle, diet, routine, exercise, that sort of thing, Virgo. So that's the full moon in Aquarius, and the moon will be in your 6th house, but the sun will be in your 12th house. So there's this focus also on your subconscious mind, on spirituality, closing out the past, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you on this full moon as well, because it's on your 6th and 12th house axis, Virgo. Now, moving on to August 20th, Mars is going to enter your 10th house, right? On August 20th, Gemini is your 10th house. Up until August 20th, Mars has been in Taurus, your 9th house, and Mars is our energy, right? It's the planet of our energy, and wherever it goes, we focus our energies a little bit more on matters of that house. So from July 5th all the way up till August 20th, the energy has been a little bit more focused on learning things, connecting with foreign cultures, on wisdom, on philosophy, on your beliefs, on learning, that sort of thing, right? But now it's going to shift into your 10th house of business and career. So more energy there for you, Virgo. And Mars is going to retrograde in the sign of Gemini, right? Which means it's going to be here for a while. It's retrograding at the end of the year. And during retrogrades we review things, right? So for you, with Mars retrograding at the end of the year, the themes that will come up will be connected to your business and career. So be mindful of that, and be mindful of the fact that Mars is going to spend a long time in your 10th house of business and career starting August 20th. Now moving on to August 22nd, the Sun is going to enter your sign Virgo, and the Sun is an illuminator, right? Up until August 22nd, the Sun has been illuminating your 12th house, closing out the past, releasing things from your subconscious, spiritual matters, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you. But now there's a shift, right? The Sun in your first house starting August 22nd will illuminate you, your appearance, your identity, who you are, how the world sees you, how you present yourself to the world, Virgo, that sort of thing. And moving on to August 24th, on August 24th, Uranus is going to go retrograde. And Uranus is this energy that brings change. It's a slow-moving energy, so it stays in a particular sign, which means a particular house, for a while, right? And in your 9th house, Uranus is changing up themes connected to foreign travel, higher education, learning something, beliefs, philosophy, wisdom, that sort of thing. And when it goes retrograde on 24th August, these are the themes that you will review connected to change, right? Are the changes connected to these themes working? Are these the changes that you need to make, or can you do different changes that are better? That sort of energy. Then on August 25th, we have Mercury entering the sign of Libra. Libra is your 2nd house, Virgo, and Mercury is our mind, right? So now the thinking, the communication can be more about financial matters, matters connected to your appearance, matters connected to your self-worth and values, Virgo. And we end this month with a new moon in your sign, right? New moons bring with them new energy, and this new energy is coming into your 1st house of you, your appearance, your identity, how the world sees you, how you present yourself to the world, that sort of thing, Virgo. So there has been a lot of focus on your 9th house of learning things, foreign travel, beliefs, philosophy, wisdom, with Uranus there and Mars there. And there's also been focus on closing out the past with so much energy in your 12th house and your subconscious. But now it's going to shift, right? Now it's going to shift slowly towards the end of the month, especially to you, your identity, how the world sees you, as well as your career with Mars entering your 10th house. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, Virgo. And now I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great day. Bye. Libra. So let's talk about what's happening in the month of August for you. But before we get into August, there are 3 things that I'd like to mention that happened at the end of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy. New energy seeds itself that we work on for the entire lunar month for the next 28 days or so. So the new moon in Leo energy is what you will be working on all the way up until the end of August, right? Now, Leo is your 11th house, Libra, which means this new energy came into matters of 11th house. The 11th house is the house of being social. It's the acquaintances that you have, the groups that you belong to, the networks that you have, right? So it's all about being social and connecting with people. So new energy in this house all the way up until the end of August. This is what you will be working on in subtle ways. The 11th house is also the house of your hopes, goals, and dreams. So some new energy there. Maybe you have some new dreams, some new goals, things like that, right? The 11th house is also to do with science, tech, innovation, progress, social activism, that sort of thing as well. So if these areas are relevant to you, then new energy in these areas as well for you, Libra. The second thing is that on the same day, on 28th July, we had Jupiter go retrograde. Now, Jupiter is the planet of blessings and lessons, right? And it enters a particular sign, which means a particular house in your chart after 12 years. So after 12 years, since 10th of May, it's been in your 7th house. Aries is your 7th house, Libra, of marriage, of business partnerships, of legal issues, right? So it's giving blessings and lessons in these areas: legal relationships, marriage, business partnerships, legal issues. And now that it's gone retrograde, now is the time to review these blessings and lessons that might have started to come about since 10th of May in these relevant areas that I mentioned. The last thing that I'd like to mention related to July is that on 31st July we had a major event, right? Uranus and the North Node conjuncted after 15 years. And this energy brings change. It's this energy of breaking free from something, right? Letting go of something and just breaking free. And this happened in your 8th house. 8th house is the house of overall transformation. It's where we do a lot of healing as well. It's the house of our psychology, our psychological makeup. It's the house of everything that's hidden, right? It's the house of occult things. So this is where that energy to break free, the energy to change happened for you, Libra, right? Maybe just an overall transformation. Maybe something changing up in your psychological makeup. The 8th house is also the house of intimate relationships and investment. So something in those themes as well. So now let's get into the month of August. So the first important thing in August happens on 4th of August, and Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. Now, Mercury is our logical mind, it's our communication, it's our thinking, right? And wherever Mercury goes, our thinking, our communication follows. So we think or communicate a little bit more than usual about those matters. And Virgo is your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of spirituality. It's the house of releasing and closing out the past. It's the house of being creative, right? It's a very creative energy. Tapping into the subconscious to become creative. It's also the house of drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you, Libra. So Mercury in this house, starting on 4th of August, can make you think or communicate more about these matters. Maybe you're thinking more about being spiritual. Maybe you're communicating more about being spiritual. Maybe your mind is on closing out the past in certain ways. Things like that, Libra. Then on August 11th, we have two important events. Venus is going to enter the sign of Leo, right? And Venus is a benefic. It brings this positive energy along with it. And up until August 11th, Venus is in your 10th house, right? So positive energy all the way up till August 11th in your house of business and career. But after that, it enters your house of being social, the house of connecting with others, the house of your hopes, goals, and dreams. So something positive there for you after the 11th of August in this area, Libra. Now, on the same day, we do have a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. Right now, Aquarius, Libra, is your 5th house, right? And full moons are this point of completion and culminations, right? We can become slightly more clear on a full moon. If we've been unclear about something, clarity can come to us on a full moon. And in your 5th house, things you might be completing, culminating, or becoming clearer about are to do with your hobbies, right? Are to do with being creative, things that you enjoy doing, that give you pleasure. It's also the house of children. So something becoming clear or completing itself in matters of children, maybe. It's also the house of love and romance, right? So something becoming clear about love or romance, or something completing itself in this area. And since it's a full moon, the sun will be in the opposite house, right? The 11th house. Which means the other theme that can be highlighted with this full moon on 11th of August is one of being social, of connecting with others, of your hopes, goals, and dreams. Science, tech, innovation, if those apply to you, Libra. Now moving on to August 20th, we have Mars entering the sign of Gemini. And up until August 20th, since 5th of July, Mars has been in Taurus, your 8th house. And Mars is our energy. Wherever Mars goes, we focus a little bit more of our energy on matters of that house. So up until August 20th, these are matters to do with transforming, ending things, beginning things, healing, your psychological makeup, occult things, hidden things, investments, intimate relationships, that sort of thing. But after the 20th of August, it shifts into your ninth house, and the ninth house is about traveling. It's about connecting with foreign cultures. It's about learning things. It's about higher education. It's about philosophy and wisdom and the meaning of life, that sort of thing. So that's where your energy will shift into. Maybe you're thinking more about travel. Maybe you're thinking more about foreign locations or foreign cultures, or connecting with these places, or learning some new things, right? And let me just say that Mars is retrograding at the end of the year in the sign of Gemini, your ninth house, which means it is going to be in your ninth house for a while. And when Mars goes retrograde at the end of the year, these themes that I just mentioned about traveling, about foreign travel, higher education, learning something new, beliefs, values, that sort of thing, these will come up for review for you, Libra. Now, moving on to August 22nd, we have the Sun changing signs. The Sun will enter the sign of Virgo. Up until August 22nd, the Sun is in the sign of Leo, your 11th house, illuminating, shining light on your social circle, on being social, on your hopes, goals, and dreams. But after 20th of August, it's going to illuminate and highlight your 12th house, closing out the past, your subconscious mind, spiritual matters, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you, being creative, right? That sort of stuff. And then on August 24th, we have Uranus go retrograde. And Uranus is this energy that's slow moving, right? It's been in your 8th house for a while, and it will continue to be in your 8th house for a while. Which means that when Uranus goes retrograde, what you will review are themes of the 8th house, right? And Uranus brings change, but since it's so slow, it takes time, right? And in your 8th house, it's an overall transformation. It might be a transformation to your psychology, might be a transformation to something occult or hidden in your life, or intimate relationships or investments. And when it does go retrograde on 24th August, these are the themes that will come up for review. Maybe the changes that you're making in transforming, just generally, or the changes you're making in an intimate relationship. Are these the best changes? Or do you need to make different changes? It's touching upon the changes that you might have made on transforming overall, on healing, on your psychology, on intimate relationships, investments, occult, hidden things, that sort of thing, Libra. And then on August 25th, Mercury is going to enter your sign, right? Which means it's going to enter your first house. And now your thinking, your communication can be more focused on matters of the first house. The first house is you. It's your identity. It's your appearance. It's how the world sees you. It's how you present yourself to the world, right? So maybe you're thinking more about yourself. Maybe you're communicating more about yourself. Maybe you're thinking about your appearance or communicating more about your appearance, that sort of thing, Libra. And the last thing that I want to talk about that happens in the month of August is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in Virgo. Now, this is the beginning of the lunar month. New energy will come in and seed itself, and Virgo is your 12th house. So this new energy is coming into matters of being creative, spiritual matters, subconscious things, closing out the past, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you, Libra, and all the way up until the end of September, till we have the next new moon. These are the themes that you will be working on. So that's the month in a nutshell for you, Libra. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month. Bye. Scorpio, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into August, there are three things that I'd like to mention that happened at the end of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the entire lunar month, for the next 28 days or so. So this is the energy that you will be working on and bringing in with you into the month of August, all the way up till the end of August, till we have the next new moon. So this new energy entered your house entered your 10th house, right? And the 10th house is the house of career and business. So maybe you're working in subtle ways on your career and business because there's new energy in that house for you. The second thing is that on the same day, 28th July, Jupiter went retrograde. Now Jupiter enters a particular sign, which means a particular house, after 12 years. And after 12 years, it's entered your 6th house. The 6th house is representative of diet, lifestyle, routine, exercise, your health, your job, your day-to-day, right? And Jupiter is a benefic. It brings lessons and blessings. So since 10th of May, because that's when it entered the sign of Aries, your 6th house, it might have brought lessons or blessings connected to these themes, connected to your lifestyle or your diet or your exercise routine or your day-to-day or your job or your health, that sort of thing, Scorpio. But now that it's gone retrograde, this is the time to review those blessings and those lessons connected to these themes that I just mentioned. The third thing that I'd like to mention is that on 31st July, we had a major event, right? After 15 years, Uranus and the North Node conjuncted. And what this conjunction brings is change. It brings this energy of breaking free from something, right? And this happened in your 7th house. So this energy of change or breaking free in your house of marriage, legal relationships, business partnerships, legal issues, that sort of thing, Scorpio. So that's July. Now let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August, Scorpio. So the first important event happens on 4th of August, and we have Mercury entering the sign of Virgo. Now Virgo is your 11th house, right? And Mercury is our mind, it's our thinking, it's our communication. Wherever Mercury goes, our thinking and communication follows in subtle ways. And the 11th house is to do with being social, it's to do with connecting with others, it's to do with your hopes, goals, and dreams, right? It's also the house of science, tech, innovation, and progress. So you might find yourself communicating more, being more social, thinking about, the connections that you have or the groups that you belong to. Or you might find yourself thinking about your hopes, goals, and dreams a little bit more with Mercury in your 11th house. And then on August 11th, we have two important events. Venus enters the sign of Leo, right? Up until August 11th, Venus is in Cancer, your 9th house. And Venus brings this energy of positivity, right? So up until August 11th, it's bringing this positive energy to your house of foreign travel, house of learning things, educating yourself, connecting with foreign cultures, wisdom, knowledge, that sort of thing. But after 11th of August, it's going to shift into your 10th house, bringing positive energy to your business and career, right, Scorpio? And then on the same day, we have a full moon in Aquarius. Now, full moons are points of completion and clarity, right? Things complete themselves on a full moon, or things end on a full moon, or things come to a head on a full moon. Things can also become clearer on a full moon. And this full moon's in your 4th house, right? So what you might be completing or becoming more clear about are matters of your home, your family, your foundation, your deepest emotions, your roots, your ancestors, where you come from. Could be a physical home as well, a property matter as well. And the sun will be in the opposite house, right? The 10th house, illuminating your business and career. So this moon is going to highlight your 4th and 10th house axis. So home, family, foundation on one hand, and your career and business on the other. Now, moving on to August 20th, we have Mars entering the sign of Gemini, Scorpio. And up until August 20th, Mars has been in the sign of Taurus all the way from 5th of July. So since 5th of July, Mars has been in your 7th house, right? And Mars is our energy. It's also our focus and drive. So wherever Mars is, that house becomes a little more active. And up until August 20th, since 5th of July, Mars in your 7th house is highlighting or giving you more energy towards marriage, business partnerships, legal issues, that sort of thing. But after 20th of August, it's going to enter your 8th house of transformation, healing, psychological makeup, occult things, hidden things, intimate relationships, that sort of thing, right? And it's going to be here for a while because Mars is going to retrograde this year at the end of the year, and it's going to be in your 8th house for a good few months. So when Mars does go retrograde at the end of the year, these are the themes that will come up for review. Psychological themes, themes of ending things, themes of intimate relationships and investments, Scorpio. And then on August 22nd, we have the Sun entering the sign of Virgo. Right, and Virgo is your 11th house. Up until August 22nd, the Sun will illuminate your 10th house of business and career. A lot of focus on business and career, but after that, the focus is going to shift a little bit to being social, right? To connecting with others, to your hopes, goals, and dreams. If science, tech, innovation apply to you, then those areas as well, Scorpio. And on August 24th, we have Uranus go retrograde, and Uranus is this energy that brings change, right? It's a slow moving energy, so it stays in a particular sign, which means a particular house, for a while. So this change happens over many years, and when it goes retrograde, what we need to do is review those changes. Are those changes working? Are they not working? Can you make better changes? And for you, the themes of these changes are to do with marriage, business partnerships, legal issues, that sort of thing, Scorpio. And then on August 25th, we'll have Mercury change signs again, and this time it's entering your 12th house, right? The 12th house is the house of closing out the past, spirituality, creativity, subconscious things, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you. So now you might find yourself thinking and communicating more about these themes, Scorpio. And the last thing for the month of August is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in the sign of Virgo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy, and this new energy is coming into your house of being social, connecting with others, your hopes, goals, and dreams, social activism, science, tech, innovation, if that applies to you. And this is the energy that you will work on all the way up until the end of September, till we have the next new moon. So that's the month in a nutshell for you, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and now I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month. Bye. Sagittarius, welcome. Let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into August, there are 3 things that I'd like to mention that happen at the end of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the entire lunar month for the next 28 days or so. So all the way up till the end of August, till we have the next new moon, this is the energy you will be working on. And this new moon happened in your 9th house. So themes of foreign travel, connecting with foreign cultures, higher education, learning something, knowledge, wisdom, that sort of thing, right? These are the themes that you will be working on all the way up until the new moon in Virgo. Now, the second thing is that on the same day, 28th July, Jupiter went retrograde. And Jupiter enters a particular sign, which means a particular house after 12 years, right? And it's been in your 5th house since 10th of May. It's in Aries right now. And since 10th of May, it's been bringing blessings and lessons connected to love, romance, hobbies, fun, pleasure, creativity, children, that sort of thing. And now is the time to review and take a second look at the blessings and lessons Jupiter might have brought regarding these themes since 10th of May. Now, the third thing concerning July is that on July 31st, we had a major event, right? Uranus and the North Node conjuncted after 15 years. And what this energy brings is change. It brings this energy of breaking free from something. And for you, this happened in your 6th house of health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine, exercise, that sort of thing, right? So this energy of change in this area for you, or breaking free from something in this area for you, Sag. Now let's get into the month of August for you. So the first important thing happens on 4th of August, and Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. Now, Sag, Mercury is this energy of our thinking and communication. Wherever Mercury goes, our thinking and communication follow, right? So we might think or communicate a little bit more about those matters with Mercury in that area of our life, right? And for you, Mercury is going to be in your 10th house starting August 4th, which means you might be thinking or communicating a little bit more about your business and career. You might find yourself thinking about these themes a little more or talking about these themes a little more. And then on August 11th, Sag, we have two important events. The first is that we have Venus entering the sign of Leo, right? Up until August 11th, Venus has been in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is your 8th house, Sag, and Venus brings blessings, and it's this positive energy. So Venus in your 8th house could have brought something positive connected to an overall transformation or healing or catharsis or ending something or changing or your psychology or an intimate relationship in your life. But on August 11th, when it enters the sign of Leo, the positive energy will be regarding matters of the 9th house, right? Foreign travel, higher education, knowledge, wisdom, connecting with foreign cultures, that sort of thing, Sag. And on the same day, we have a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. Now, full moons are this point of completion and they bring clarity as well, right? So this full moon's happening in your 3rd house. So what you might be completing or becoming more clear about are matters of the 3rd house: communication related matters, marketing, social media related matters, matters to do with your siblings or peer group or your immediate environment, right? Things completing themselves in this area, or you becoming more clear about things in this area, Sag. And while the moon will be in your 3rd house, the sun will be in your 9th house, illuminating matters of foreign travel, higher education, knowledge, wisdom, that sort of thing. So the full moon is on your 3rd and 9th axis, highlighting communication, marketing, social media, siblings, peer group on one hand, and philosophy, wisdom, knowledge, learning something, foreign travel on the other. And the next important thing happens on 20th August. We have Mars entering the sign of Gemini. Now, Mars is our energy, right? Wherever Mars goes, we become a little bit more focused on that area of our life. Up until August 20th, Mars has been in the sign of Taurus, your 6th house, since 5th of July. So a lot of action and energy in your 6th house of job and health and diet and lifestyle routine and exercise, right? But after 20th of August, it's going to shift into your 7th house. A lot of energy and action to do with marriage, business partnerships, legal issues, that sort of thing, Sag. And Mars is going to retrograde in Gemini at the end of the year, so it's going to be in your 7th house for a while. And when Mars does go retrograde at the end of the year, what you might need to review with Mars retrograde are matters of marriage, business partnerships, and legal issues. And the next important thing happens on August 22nd, right? And the sun enters the sign of Virgo, and the sun is an illuminator. Up until August 22nd, the sun is in your 9th house, illuminating your house of foreign travel, higher education, wisdom, knowledge, that sort of thing. But after August 22nd, it's going to enter your 10th house, illuminating, bringing more light into your house of career and business. And then on August 24th, we have Uranus go retrograde, and Uranus is a slow-moving energy. It stays in a particular sign, which means a particular house, for a while, right? Few years. And it's been in your 6th house. And Uranus brings change. So it's bringing change concerning your job, your health, your diet, lifestyle routine, a slow change, you can say. And now that it's gone retrograde, now is the time to review. Are the changes that you're making concerning your job, health, diet, lifestyle routine working, or are they not working? Can you make better changes? That sort of stuff, Sag. Now moving on to August 25th, we have Mercury entering the sign of Libra. Libra is your 11th house. So now you might find yourself thinking and communicating more about being social. Maybe you are being more social, right? Maybe you're connecting more with others. Maybe you're thinking about the groups that you belong to, the organizations that you're part of. Maybe you're communicating and thinking more about your hopes, goals, and dreams. If science, tech, innovation, progress apply to you, then you might find yourself thinking or communicating more about these matters as well. Now, the last thing for the month of August is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in the sign of Virgo. And new moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the next 28 days or so, right? And this one's happening in your 10th house of business and career. So, new energy coming into your house of business, your house of career that you will work on all the way up until the end of September till we have the next new moon. So that's the month in a nutshell for you, Sag. I hope you enjoyed this video, and now I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month. Bye. Capricorn, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into the month of August, there are three things that I'd like to talk about that happened at the end of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had the new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the next 28 days or so. So you will be bringing this energy in with you into the month of August. And this new moon happened in your 8th house. So this new energy is in the house that is about transforming, releasing, ending, catharsis, healing, intimate relationships, investments, occult things, right? So these are the broad themes that you might find yourself working on, because there's new energy in these themes for you, Capricorn. The second thing about July is that on the same day, 28th July, we had Jupiter go retrograde, right? And Jupiter is a benefic. It brings lessons and blessings, and it's in your 4th house after 12 years. Jupiter enters a particular sign, which means a particular house after 12 years, and it's been in your 4th house since 10th of May. And it might have brought blessings or lessons concerning matters of the 4th house, home, family, foundation, your deepest emotions, property matters, that sort of thing, Capricorn. And now that it's gone retrograde, now is the time to review those lessons and blessings connected to the 4th house, your family, your foundation, your deepest emotions, where you come from, your roots, your ancestors, a physical home, property matters, that sort of thing, Capricorn. And the next thing that I want to talk about concerning July is that on 31st July, we had a major event. We had Uranus conjunct the North Node, right? And this happened after 15 years. And what this energy brings, very simply put, is change, right? It's this energy of breaking free from something. And in your 5th house, the change, the breaking free energy, so to speak, is in your house of love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun, pleasure, children, Capricorn. Right, so I just wanted to touch upon these themes that happened at the end of July, and now let's get into the month of August for you. So the first important event in August happens on 4th August, and we have Mercury entering the sign of Virgo. And Mercury is our mind, it's our thinking, it's our communication, and wherever Mercury goes, we might think or communicate a little bit more than usual about those matters. And starting August 4th, Mercury will be in your 9th house. So you might find yourself thinking or communicating more about traveling, more about philosophy and wisdom and the meaning of life and learning some things, acquiring wisdom and knowledge, that sort of thing, Capricorn. And then on August 11th, we have two important events. Venus enters the sign of Leo. Up until August 11th, Venus is in your 7th house in the sign of Cancer. And Venus brings positivity with it. So up until August 11th, it's bringing this positive energy in your house of marriage, legal relationships, business partnerships, legal issues, that sort of thing, Capricorn. But after August 11th, it's going to enter your 8th house and bring positive energy to matters of healing, your psychological makeup, intimate relationships, investments, occult, transforming, that sort of thing, Capricorn. And on the same day, we have a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. And full moons are this point of clarity, right? Things become clear to us on a full moon, or things complete themselves on a full moon. And for you, this full moon's happening in your 2nd house in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is your 2nd house, Capricorn. And what this means is that what you might be completing or becoming clear about are matters of the 2nd house. Financial matters, matters of acquiring wealth, matters to do with your self-worth and values and skills, right? So the moon will be in your 2nd house and the sun will be in your 8th house, illuminating matters of healing, transforming, ending things, catharsis, release, hidden things, occult things, intimate relationships, investments, right? So The full moon is on your 2nd and 8th house axis. Financial matters, acquiring wealth, self-worth, values and skills highlighted on one hand, and healing, transforming, intimate relationships, investments highlighted on the other hand. Then moving on to August 20th, we have Mars entering the sign of Gemini. Up until August 20th, Mars has been in the sign of Taurus since 5th of July. And Mars is our energy, right? It's the planet of action. And wherever it goes, that house can become more active. Our energy can be more focused on that house. And for you, up until August 11th, that's been your 5th house of having fun, of pleasure, of hobbies, of children, of love, romance, creativity. But after August 20th, it's going to shift into your 6th house, and now the energy will be more focused on matters of the 6th house: health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine, your day-to-day exercise, that sort of stuff. And Mars is going to be in Gemini, your 6th house, for a while. It's going to retrograde here at the end of the month. And when Mars does go retrograde, themes of the 6th house, health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine, will come up for review. So just keep that in mind, Capricorn. And then moving on to August 22nd, we have the Sun entering the sign of Virgo. Up until August 22nd, the Sun is in your 8th house. And the Sun is an illuminator. In your 8th house, it's shining light and illuminating matters to do with healing, transforming, ending things, occult things, intimate relationships. But after August 22nd, it's going to enter your 9th house and shine light and illuminate matters to do with the 9th house. Foreign travel, higher education, acquiring wisdom, knowledge, beliefs, that sort of thing, Capricorn. And then on August 24th, we have Uranus go retrograde, and Uranus is a slow-moving energy. It stays in a particular sign, which means a particular house, for a few years. And it's been in your 5th house for a while, will be in your 5th house for a while. And what this means is that it's bringing a slow change to matters of love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun, children, pleasure, right? And now is the time when it goes retrograde to review what those changes are, whether those changes are working, whether they're not working, connected to the areas that I just mentioned. And then on August 25th, we have Mercury changing signs again. It's going to enter the sign of Libra, your 10th house. And what this means is that you might find yourself thinking or communicating a little bit more about your career, about business, that sort of thing. And the last thing for the month of August is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in the sign of Virgo, and new moons bring with them new energy. And this is the energy that you will be working on all the way up till the end of September, till we have the next new moon. And this energy is in your 9th house, right? So new energy coming in to matters of foreign travel, higher education, wisdom, knowledge, your beliefs, that sort of thing, Capricorn. So that was the month in a nutshell for you, Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and now I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month. Bye. Aquarius, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into August, there are 3 things that I'd like to talk about that happened at the end of July. Now, the first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the entire lunar month for the next 28 days or so. So this is the energy you will be working on all the way up to the end of August, till we have the next new moon in Virgo. So what is this energy? This new moon is in your 7th house, right? The 7th house is the house of marriage, business partnerships, legal issues. So new energy in this house for you that you will be working on all the way up to the end of August. The second thing is that on 28th July, the same day, we had Jupiter go retrograde. Right now, Jupiter enters a particular sign, which means a particular house, after 12 years. So after 12 years, it's entered your 3rd house. Right, since 10th of May, it's been in your 3rd house, and Jupiter is a benefic. It brings lessons and blessings. So since 10th of May, it's been bringing lessons and blessings connected to your mind, thinking, social media, communicating, your peer group, your siblings, your immediate environment. And now that it's gone retrograde, now is the time to review those lessons and changes connected to the areas that I just mentioned. the last thing about July that I want to speak about is that on 31st July we had Uranus conjunct the North Node. Now this happened after 15 years, so it's not a very common energy to feel. And what this energy brings is change. It brings this energy of breaking free from something, right? And for you, this is in your 4th house, right? So there's this energy of change and breaking free, connected to your family, connected to your home, your deepest emotions, your roots, your ancestors, where you come from, right? Property matters as well, Aquarius. So I just thought I'd mention these 3 things, and now let's get into the month of August for you. So the first important thing in the month of August happens on 4th of August, and we have Mercury entering the sign of Virgo. Now Virgo is your 8th house, Aquarius, and Mercury is our logical mind. It's our communication. Wherever Mercury goes, our thinking and communication can be a little bit more focused on those areas, right? And for you, those areas are to do with healing, transforming your psychology, intimate relationships, investments. So you might find yourself thinking about these themes a little more, or communicating about these themes a little more, Aquarius. Then on August 11th, we have a full moon in your sign, in the sign of Aquarius. And full moons are this point of completion. They're this point of clarity, right? Things can become clear to us in a full moon. Things can complete themselves in a full moon. And this one's in your 1st house. So what you might be becoming clear about, or in some ways completing, are themes of your identity. Who you are, how you present yourself to the world, that sort of thing, your appearance even. And with the moon in the 1st house, the sun is in the opposing house, the 7th house, which means it is illuminating matters of marriage, business partnerships, and legal issues. So this full moon is going to touch upon themes of your identity, your appearance, as well as themes of marriage and business partnerships and legal issues. And on the same day, we have Venus entering the sign of Leo. Up until August 11th, Venus is in the sign of Cancer, probably bringing something positive connected to your diet, health, lifestyle, routine, job, exercise. But now that it's going to shift into your 7th house on August 11th, the positive energy will be in matters of business partnerships, marriage, legal relationships. So that's August 11th. And then on August 20th, we have Mars entering the sign of Gemini. And up until August 11th, right from 5th of July, Mars has been in Taurus, your 4th house, right? And Mars is the planet of action and energy. And wherever Mars is, that house might become more active. Our energy might be more dedicated to matters of that house. And up till August 20th, it's in your house of home and family and foundation and your roots and ancestors and property, right? But after August 20th, it's going to shift into your 5th house. More energy, more focus, more drive on matters of children, love, romance, creativity, hobbies, fun, pleasure. And Mars is going to retrograde here at the end of the year. So it's going to be in your 5th house for a while. And when it does go retrograde at the end of the year, these are the themes connected to love, romance, children, hobbies, fun, pleasure that will come up for review for you, Aquarius. Now, moving on to August 22nd, we have the sun entering the sign of Virgo. Now, the sun is an illuminator. Up until August 22nd, it is shining light on and illuminating your house of marriage, your house of business partnerships and legal issues. But after that, it's going to enter your 8th house and shine light on and illuminate matters of healing, transforming, ending things, intimate relationships, investments. And then on August 24th, Aquarius, we have Uranus go retrograde. And Uranus is a slow-moving energy, right? It's been in your 4th house for a while and will be in your 4th house for a while. And Uranus brings change. It's the slow change that it brings. And in your 4th house, it's bringing change to matters of the home, the family, your deepest emotions, and could be a physical home as well. So now that it's gone retrograde, you might need to review all these changes that have been happening connected to your home and family and foundation and your deepest emotions, right? Are these changes the best changes? Can you make these changes better? Are these changes working? That sort of thing, Aquarius. Now, moving on to August 25th, we have Mercury entering the sign of Libra, and Libra is your ninth house, so you might find yourself thinking and communicating a little more than usual about traveling, about philosophy and wisdom, and learning things and acquiring wisdom and knowledge, that sort of thing, Aquarius. And then the last thing that I want to speak about is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in the sign of Virgo, and new moons bring in new energy, and this is the energy that you will work on till the end of September. And Virgo is your eighth house, right? So new energy is seeding itself in your house of healing, psychology, transforming, ending things, intimate relationships, investments, occult things, hidden things, right? And this is the energy, this is the area that you will work on till the end of September. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, Aquarius, and now I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month. Bye. Pisces, let's talk about what's happening for you in the month of August. But before we get into August, there are three things that I'd like to mention that happened at the end of July. The first is that on 28th July, we had a new moon in the sign of Leo. Now, new moons bring with them new energy that we work on for the entire lunar month for the next 28 days or so. So Leo is your sixth house, Pisces. So new energy came into your sixth house and seeded itself. The sixth house is the house of job, health, diet, lifestyle, routine, exercise. So new energy there for you, new energy for you to work on all the way up until the end of August till we have the new moon in Virgo. Now, the second thing that I want to mention is that on the same day, 28th July, Jupiter went retrograde. Right now, Jupiter enters a particular sign, which means a particular house after 12 years. So since 10th of May, after 12 years, it's in your second house. And Jupiter is a benefic. It brings lessons and blessings. And in your second house, it's bringing lessons and blessings since 10th of May, connected to financial matters, matters of appearances, self-worth, values, and skills. And now that it's gone retrograde, now is the time to review those blessings and lessons that might have come with Jupiter in your second house. The last thing that I want to mention regarding July is that on 31st July, we had a major event, right? Uranus and the North Node conjuncted, and they met up after 15 years. And what this energy brings is change. It's this energy of breaking free, and this happened in your third house of communication, of siblings, of your peer group, right, of your immediate environment, of social media and marketing. So change in these areas, or this energy of breaking free. So now let's get into the month of August. The first important thing happens on 4th of August, and Mercury is going to enter the sign of Virgo. And Mercury is our logical mind, it's communication. Wherever Mercury goes, we might think a little bit more about those things or communicate a little bit more about those things. And now it's entering your seventh house, right? So you might find yourself thinking or communicating more about marriage, more about legal relationships, legal issues, business partnerships, that sort of thing, Pisces. And then on August 11th, we have two important events. Venus is going to enter the sign of Leo, right? And Venus is this positive energy. So it brings this positivity along with it. And up until August 11th, Venus is going to be in your sixth house, bringing positive energy to matters of your job, your health, your diet, your lifestyle, your routine, your day-to-day. But after August 11th, it's going to shift into your seventh house and bring positive energy to marriage, business partnerships, legal issues, that sort of thing. And on the same day, we have a full moon in Aquarius, and full moons are this point of completion. And things can also become clear on a full moon. And for you, this full moon is in your 12th house. Aquarius is your 12th house, Pisces. And what you might be becoming more clear about, or what might be completing itself or ending in certain ways, are matters associated with spirituality, creativity, closing out the past, your subconscious mind, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you, Pisces. And with the moon in the 12th house, the sun will be in the opposing house, the 6th house. So on one hand, this moon will highlight spiritual matters, subconscious matters, matters of closing out the past, drugs, delusions, addictions, depression, if those apply to you. And on the other, it's going to also highlight your health, your job, your diet, your lifestyle, your routine, exercise. And Moving on to August 20th, we have Mars entering the sign of Gemini on August 20th. Up until August 20th, since 5th of July, Mars has been in Taurus, your third house. And Mars is our energy. Wherever Mars goes, we focus a little bit more of our energy on those areas. And for you, since 5th of July, that's been communication, that's been marketing, social media, peer groups, siblings, writing, thinking, that sort of thing. But after 20th of August, it's going to enter your fourth house, so more energy and more action regarding family, your home, your deepest emotions, your closest friends, right? Could be a physical home as well, Pisces. And Mars is going to retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which means it's going to be here for a few months. And when Mars does go retrograde at the end of the year, these are the themes of your family, of your home, of your deepest emotions, of maybe a physical home, a property matter as well, that will come up for review. So just keep that in mind. And the next thing happens on August 22nd, and we have the Sun entering the sign of Virgo. Now the Sun is an illuminator. Up until August 22nd, it's going to be in your sixth house, illuminating, bringing to light matters of health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine, exercise. After that, it's going to bring to light matters of marriage, business partnerships, and legal issues. And then on August 24th, we have Uranus go retrograde. Uranus is a slow-moving energy. It stays in a particular sign, which means a particular house. For many years, it's been in your third house. And what Uranus brings is change. So it's been bringing this change, maybe to your thinking, maybe to matters of communicating or social media or your peer group or your siblings or your immediate environment, right? And now that it's going to go retrograde, now is the time to review those changes. Are those changes working? Are these the best changes? That sort of thing regarding these matters. And then on August 25th, Mercury is going to enter the sign of Libra. And now you might find yourself thinking more about healing or releasing emotions or your psychological makeup or intimate relationships, Pisces. And the last thing that I want to speak about for the month of August is that on August 27th, we have a new moon in Virgo. Right, and new moons bring new energy that seeds itself, that we work on for the next lunar month, for the next 28 days or so. So up until September, this is the energy that you will be working on. This energy is in your seventh house of marriage, business partnerships, and legal issues. So new energy coming in your seventh house of marriage, business partnerships, and legal issues with the new moon in Virgo for you to work on. So that's the month in a nutshell for you, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed this video, and now I will see you in one of my other videos. Have a great month. Bye.